Yep. All right, so it's time to go shopping out here. We got two new coaches that found new homes. Two new college coaches that found homes. The former Oklahoma Sooner head coach Lincoln Riley is now the head coach of the USC Trojans, and the former coach of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish Brian Kelly is now the new coach of the LSU Tigers. So it's a lot to unpack here, Jay. One guy moved completely out of his region and went looking to take over a new market. The other guy kind of went from, you know, a level where he was at, a harder job, to something where he think he can probably, catch his ceiling more. One is 38, the other one is 60. Jay, well, which one of these two coaches do you see in the next 3 years having the most success?
I, I'd have to say Lincoln Riley. I like what Lincoln Riley's done. He's USC definitely gave him a nice little deal. If what I'm reading about it is true with the $6 million home and buying those homes out in Norman, Oklahoma. Um, but look here, you can look at this for Lincoln Riley one or two ways. Um, the first way is you can say if you're in the SEC, you can say, "Oh, well, he's ducking us. He's ducking the SEC." I think that there could be some, there might be some truth to that. Maybe I think I'm reading some things that say, Lincoln Riley, he's not, he didn't love the move that Oklahoma has made to move to the SEC. That's certainly, we talked about it when when this news was kind of fresh, and we were
Right.
like, man, I really want to do that. I mean, in the big, you kind of Oklahoma pretty much owned the Big 12. Like this dude had before this season, that they basically they got eliminated from the Big 12 title game over the weekend. But before that, you had four consecutive Big 12 titles, and you had three college football playoff appearances. So you had a clear shot. Kind of how Clemson has had the ACC recently. So it's you go to SEC, and we was talking about it before we got on the air. Look, you got Nick Saban and you got Kirby Smart ahead of you right now. It's just, I mean, there can be no question about it. Based on Nick Saban's just history of greatness at Alabama and what Kirby Smart's putting on display right now, is we gotta pay some respect to that. They just we
Right.
just can't get it. So I'm not going to be upset at Lincoln Riley looking at that situation and saying, hmm, maybe I need to get on out of here because I can go over here to the West Coast, get in the Pac-12, which we just make jokes about constantly, and I can own the Pac-12. Who I got to deal with? Oregon? Okay, I'll deal with Oregon. Who else? Give me somebody else I got to be worried about. I'm not worried about Herman Edwards down there in Arizona State. Washington State and Washington? Don't get me started with some of these schools. What, Colorado? Come on, man. Now don't get. I know Chip Kelly didn't show me something recently, but I'm not worried about Chip Kelly. Listen, if Lincoln Riley come over here, if he does this, if he's able to build the same type of program at Oklahoma, if he carries that to USC, he's gonna be able to do the same thing. He's gonna be a yearly participant in the college football playoff, especially as we look into expansion. I don't see no reason. Like, think about it, and I also think for USC it's a great hire. I mean, no disrespect to Clay Helton. Clay Helton's had some success out there, but I think it just proved that there's levels to this. You go Pete Carroll, Clay Helton. I'm not sure if there was somebody in between there, but there just clearly was. I think there was somebody. What, Sarkeesian had it for a year or so, or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, 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 yeah,
The
yeah.
point is, there's levels to this, and when you look at Pete Carroll and then you look at who else has coached USC. Look, I'm not saying Lincoln Riley is as good a coach as Pete Carroll, but what I am saying is I think Lincoln Riley is capable of getting to where Pete Carroll was with this program. So when you look at all those factors, um, I think it's a great move for both sides. I think Lincoln Riley is going to have a lot of success. You look at what he's done recruiting, and as far as what he's been able to get out of quarterbacks, this guy had two straight Heisman Trophy winners, and in the third year he had Jalen Hurts as a Heisman finalist. And we got a little bit of a rough patch. We got Spencer Rattler in here. He flamed out this year, and we just can't we just can't get around it. But I'm telling you, this kid Caleb Williams, so he got another one in there that's like, I think Caleb Williams gonna be in the Heisman conversation at some point in his career. That's the way I'm looking at it. So I think it's great. I think it's a great move for both sides. The Brian Kelly one, I don't know. I think I don't know. Brian Kelly was doing his thing at Notre Dame. He had this thing figured out, since a really bad 2016 season when he went 4-8, 54-9. He's 2018 and last season in the college football playoff. I know we got the thing where he ain't seeing no success in there. We get all that, but it's the same thing that, like, I just wonder, like, both of these guys have to be looking at this situation and saying, because Lincoln Riley, he was getting linked to the LSU job as well. And you just look at LSU, think about what they just did down there. You had Ed Orgeron, a proven guy, a champion, and 2 years later, pack your bags, man, get out of here. And that team was, and by the way, LSU clearly was still playing for him all the way down to the last game. They just beat Texas A&M this weekend to get bowl eligible. So I don't know, LSU, we know that's a hard place to coach when you look at Les Miles and what he was able to accomplish. When you look at Ed Orgeron and what he just did for them. So Brian Kelly, I mean, I think it's pretty clear. You better win, and you better win big. And a national title, I don't know. I mean, clearly that ain't enough. You're going to have to be consistently, you're going to have to split with Nick Saban, year for year. You better alternate with him in the SEC title game. That appears to be the expectation LSU has.
No, I disagree a little bit. They do have a very, very high expectation. That I don't agree with. I mean, I don't disagree with. But I would say this. The thing about LSU is you can't come in there, win a title or make a playoff, and then have 2 years of just straight dumpster fire. And so what I think is, I don't think necessarily you have to keep up with Alabama and what they're doing or Georgia what they're doing. But like you said, it's about consistency. Can you at least make New Year's Six bowls on a constant basis? I mean, hell, LSU is going from championship to not even bowl eligible. You know what I'm saying? Like, at that point, yes, I don't care that you won me a championship because you out here looking like UConn, not LSU. So I think you need some level of consistency. So in that part, I do agree with. But this is my problem with that level of consistency. Saying that, all right, I know we beat up on Brian Kelly a lot, and we say he never got it done. He never got it done. Could I say he never got it done because he never had enough talent to get it done? I mean, has he really had a quarterback that Wild does? I mean, think about all the teams he done made, the team he had in the national championship, and then the teams that have made the playoffs. Has he really had a quarterback that just made us think like, yo, this guy can get it done? We say, Ian Book, he cool.
Right. Yeah.
Has he had a top wide receiver? Now he has have top tight ends, but has he ever had a number one receiver, a Biletnikoff receiver, a first round receiver? He might have some running backs, maybe second, third round. I don't think he really had first round running backs. So my point to that is to say, maybe he look at LSU and say, I can finally get the talent where I can get over the hump. I can finally get that star quarterback. I can finally get that star receiver. I can finally get, that offensive line. I mean, even though he did pretty good in the offensive line area, but he's saying I can finally get some talent that can catapult a playoff win, that can catapult me in the championship game. Whereas instead of me running into teams that's clearly more talented and they're blowing me off the field. So in that instance, I can see where Brian Kelly coming from. Now, first of all, Brian Kelly's 60 years old. And then he's coming into a powder keg of a university. I mean, this university got quite a few allegations hanging over top. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's keep it real here. They got a lot going on here. Ed is leaving them with a hot, steaming plate of, if I must say so myself. And this goes back to when Les Miles was there, probably before him, for all I know. So with him being the age he is, with him not being the most cleanest coach as far as reputation go, it did make me scratch my head to like, are you sure this is what you want to do, Brian Kelly? I got it. You might have felt like it's too many obstacles at Notre Dame. You got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, you got to do that. And you just wanted to come to a school that just play football. That's all they care about is football. But it's a lot more, and you are going to be asked to somewhat replicate what Ed Orgeron did or what Les Miles did or something to the fact of within the first 2 years, your ass better be in the playoffs. You better be in the playoffs. We ain't hearing no, you get 1 year to set things up. Got it. Year 2, you better be knocking on the door of the playoffs. You might not make it, but you better be in the New Year's Six Bowl. If you out here playing in the Cheese Bowl, we're going to have some problems. So I think that, things like that, it does make me scratch my head, but I see the pros and cons. And over to Lincoln Riley, here's the deal. Lincoln Riley, hey, it's like this. Hey, do you want a Bentley or a Rolls Royce? It don't matter. They both good cars. Which one do you want the more? I'll take the Rolls Royce. Got the better value. I'm heading out to USC. Could have went to LSU. Could have, kept the Bentley at LSU. He said, damn that. I'll take the Rolls Royce. The thing about this, what I like about Lincoln Riley doing this is, as much as we bag on the Pac-12 and we talk about how uninterested we are about them and the games come on extremely late and this, that, and the third, I think Lincoln Riley has the tools to bring the Pac-12 back to the conversation. I'm not saying win championships. I'm not saying run college football. But right now, I can go ask some of the most avid college football fans, can you list the whole Pac-12? And they might stop at one division. They might give me 6. Because we're just not that interested about it on the East Coast and down south. That's just what it is. Probably not in the Midwest either. Lincoln Riley has the tools to make us care about USC again. Therefore, we'll care about the Pac-12. Because we care about Oregon, but Oregon don't got enough sauce. Big field over there, Nike, all the uniforms in the world, you still don't got enough sauce. USC is a blue blood. Been doing this back in the day. They fell off, then they do it again, then they fall off, then they do it again. This is what makes you a blue blood. That is why USC is in the pecking order that they are in. Lincoln Riley can do this. You just named his credentials. What we're seeing is these recruits decommitting from Oklahoma and follow him to USC. It's a reason for that. It's a reason. I don't know if he talked to him beforehand about it, which will make sense to me, but it's a reason. Because they see what this dude can do for the state of California. And, by the way, dare I say, California is one of 4 states that you can win recruiting without even leaving your borders? He can go win California and don't have to worry about whatever is happening in the rest of the nation. Because he can have a #1 recruiting class in the state of California alone. Don't forget, he done pissed some Oklahoma people off, but he still will have his footprint in the Big 12 area. So he still will be able to recruit in those areas. He might or might not be able to go in the SEC Nation, and we'll see. But what I do know is he is in the hotbed of a lot of top tier talent. He's only 38. Do you know what LA and Hollywood gonna do with a 38-year-old head coach from USC? This dude gonna be the next coming to Jesus when they get finished. So, with that said, I thought it was a brilliant move. To answer the question, I will take Lincoln Riley just because, like you said, easier path. I think he's gonna get top-notch talent right off the bat. I do see some reservation from down south for Brian Kelly a little bit. I don't know, man. He looked like a knockout version of Nick Saban. He all old and stuff. We don't know about all that. I don't know. So they might be a little hesitant, But Lincoln Riley, home run for him, home run for USC, home run for the Pac-12, home run for the whole West Coast, and I think it's just a home run for college football as a whole.